Some places on Earth don't follow the law of nature, though everything on our planet obeys the law of gravity, but there are some places where this law can't be applied. These mysterious places can be included in your bucket list. Here are the list of places where gravity doesn't seem to work. Magnetic Hill is located on Black Rock Road near the township of Pekina and Peterborough in rural South Australia, several-hour drive northeast of Adelaide. A drive along the road will reveal a strange sculpture of a giant magnet and rusty bicycle. Looking forward as the road winds its way upwards into a small nest of hills, you would expect a car in neutral to roll back down the hill. But in some strange confluence of topographic anomalies, a car set in neutral will begin to roll uphill. Best experienced with the carload of mystified children, or better yet, take some of your friends and try to be the first person to figure out exactly what's going on. And aliens don't count as an explanation. Take the road from Peterborough to Orroroo. Around 25 kilometers from Peterborough, you will come to a T-junction, left to Jamestown, and right to Orroroo. Turn left and travel approximately 1 kilometer when you will cross over a railroad crossing. Around 400 meters from that crossing and on the right-hand side of the road, there is a gravel road with the sign Magnetic Hill 8 kilometers. Nature offers countless unique and picturesque wonders across the world, but some leave us absolutely amazed. This time it is upside-down waterfalls, which gives you a rare and matchless sight. Upside-down waterfalls are basically an optical illusion, which is created when strong winds blow the water upwards. There are a total of 4 upside-down waterfalls found across the world that includes the following: Rukandi Waterfalls, Iceland, Cliffs of Moher, Ireland, Kinder Falls in the United Kingdom, Waipui Falls on Oahu, Hawaii. One can catch a glimpse of Waiupai Falls through Pali Expressway. It is said that the water almost never touches the ground due to the gusting winds blowing off Mount Kanjuani. These oxymorons are actually quite natural, albeit rare. Also, the monsoon is one of the best seasons to visit Maharashtra in India if you love hiking and are not bothered by the downpour. The torrential monsoon rains turn the brown Sadahiri hills into lush green and slopes, and dotted with innumerable waterfalls. Apart from the thrill of trekking, sometimes through gusting waterfalls, catching sights of a reverse or upside-down waterfall can be a bonus. Oh, the famous mystery spot in Santa Cruz will blow your mind. A special place full of intrigue and imagination. Some speculate that cones of metal were secretly brought here and buried in our Earth as guidance systems for their spacecraft. Some think that it is in fact the spacecraft itself buried beneath the ground. Other theories include carbon dioxide permeating from the Earth, a hole in the ozone layer, a magma vortex, the highest dielectric biocosmic radiation known anywhere in the world, and radiesthesia. Whatever the cause is, it remains a mystery. The highlight of the trip is walking into the main house where the 17-degree angle starts to play with your brain. You can climb tables, hang from the wall, and walk up the stairs. All of these things designed to mess with your mind and to provide some fun Instagram pictures. After the guide shows you the area, you can mess with it yourself and try the different activities she explained. It is actually a lot of fun to mess around on the different magic spots. Are you so cool you defy the laws of gravity? To find out, get to the bottom of the legendary Magnetic Hill outside of Moncton. Put your car in neutral and freak yourself out as it rolls uphill. Whoa. That's weird. Magnetic Hill has been one of New Brunswick's most popular tourist attractions since the 1930s, a freak of nature that boggles the mind and slides uphill onto the Great Canadian Bucket List. The no-gravity hill is located at exit 450 on the Trans-Canada Highway. Look for the signs to Magnetic Hill Park in the north end of the city of Moncton off Mountain Road. Your vehicle is pointing north, appearing to be on a downhill portion of the road. You stop your vehicle at a certain point on this awesome, crazy road. You put the car, pointing downhill, in neutral. Basically what happens is a gravity or magnetic hill is a place where a slight downhill slope appears to be an uphill slope due to the layout of the surrounding land, creating the amazing illusion that water flows uphill or a car is left out of gear will roll uphill, among others. Death Valley National Park was designated in 1933 and is home to one of the world's strangest yet bizarre phenomena: rocks that move along the desert ground with no gravitational cause. Known as sailing stones, the rocks vary in size from a few ounces to hundreds of pounds. Though no one has ever seen them actually move in person, the trails left behind the stones and periodic changes in their location make it clear that they do. Many of the largest rocks have left behind trails as long as 1,500 feet, suggesting that they've moved a long way indeed from their original location. Rocks with a rough bottom surface leave straight tracks, while smooth bottom rocks tend to wander. The sailing stones have been observed and studied since the early 1900s, and several theories have been suggested to explain their mysterious movements. In 2014, scientists were able to capture the movement of the stones for the first time using time-lapse photography. The results strongly suggest that the sailing stones are the result of a perfect balance of ice, water, and wind. Indeed, a place where gravity doesn't work. Resting atop Mount Kaikatiyo is one of the three most sacred religious sites in Myanmar, the Kiatigo Pagoda. The pagoda stands 24 feet tall, but it's the boulder that gets everyone's attention. Massive and unbelievably heavy, the boulder rests on the edge of a cliff with more than half of its surface leaning out over open air. It looks like it could fall at any moment, but it doesn't. Because of its unbelievable defiance of gravity, Buddhists flock from all over to chant and meditate and light candles around the rock. They sit and walk directly underneath it, trusting it not to fall and crush them. Monks have even plastered the boulder with gold leaf over the years, resulting in an amazing sight. A large boulder perched precariously on a cliff edge, covered in gold, with a beautiful pagoda on top. It's no wonder people use it as a shrine. The Kayaktiyo Pagoda has become sacred among Buddhists, not simply because of its impossible position. Legend has it that the boulder remains in place because it is perfectly balanced on a strand of Buddha's hair. Gravity hills are a type of slope where things seem to move against gravity on their own accord. For instance, if water is poured onto the surface of a hill, it would seem to move upwards, instead of in the opposite direction as one might expect it to. Gravity hills seem to defy the laws of physics. If an object, for example, a ball, is placed on a slope, it should naturally be pulled downwards by gravity. On gravity hills, the opposite appears to occur, i.e., the object's moving upwards instead. As these hills apparently defy the laws of nature, they have become tourist attractions. These mysterious hills occur in some parts of the world. One of them is found in Armenia, on the slopes of Mount Aragats, where Amber Fortress is located. On this road, the car automatically moves upward towards the mountain without driving, and in some places even accelerate. But this is not the only anomalous phenomenon happening in this place. There are a few rivers in Mount Aragats where water flows in reverse, from down to upwards. The truth is that this huge block of granite remained in curious oscillating balance for decades until it fell to the void and broke into pieces. Many people assert that it had not been for the foolish and funny characters that would put cans and glasses underneath its structure when it was oscillating, the mass would have reached for days untouched. Unfortunately, that was not possible. There was even a rumor that the most important fast-acting glue company in the world had offered around $1 million in order to stick it and display its famous slogan on the rock. But even if that had been an excellent advertising campaign, it never happened. Even if the city of Tandil became famous for its rocks, which was used as cobble to pave the streets of most of the main cities in our country, priorities have now changed. Therefore, tourist attractions are forcing mining activities to be moved to nearby areas. In other parts of the gravity stories, no one knows the real truth, though. Essentially, the mysterious road, Jeju, is just a road in South Korea. And it's actually only a small part of another larger road. So why should you visit it then? Said to defy the laws of gravity and blow the minds of people who see it, the mysterious road is an optical illusion. Unlike the purpose-built optical illusions found in museums and used in magic shows, this was created entirely by accident. It really does make no sense. Things look as though they're just rolling uphill. But how? It actually isn't an uphill slope at all. The slope goes downhill, but appears the opposite due to high surroundings. The mysterious road Jeju got its initial claim to fame in the 1980s. A couple on their honeymoon had a complete fright when a car that was left in neutral appeared to crawl uphill in front of their very eyes. Of course, the car was actually rolling downhill. Thus, the legend of the mysterious road began. Every year, thousands of tourists flock to this part of the island to see the road for themselves. It holds such an appeal for visitors to Jeju. Children especially love it. Rua do Amendio, also Peanut Street as it is known to locals, will always have ample parking. This is because as soon as a car is stopped without the emergency brake, it will slowly begin to roll uphill, gaining speed as it goes. There's a lot of folk explanations, including that the hill is haunted, or that a massive deposit of iron ore lies beneath the street, drawing vehicles up to its magnetic pull. In reality, the phenomenon is apparently an optical illusion. Though the street appears to be on a steep incline, there is actually a slight dip in the road. Though cars appear to be rolling uphill, they're actually rolling down. That doesn't stop people from recording hundreds of videos capturing the strange sight of cars making their way uphill, though. Access from Praca do Papa at the junction of Rua Juventino Dias. A sign that reads Rua do Adamanio, Curiosity, can be seen at the junction. Another weirdest place on Earth is Spook Hill. This mysterious place with no gravity is an optical illusion where the cars themselves rotate. Spook is located in West Wales Ridge of Florida. The geological form of the sand and limestone hills is a significant series, which has 2 to 3 million years ago on the island, when the sea level was very high. If you stop your vehicle or make it neutral, you will see that it is being pulled towards the mountain. The attraction is adjacent to Spook Hill Elementary School, which adopted Casper the Friendly Ghost as their school mascot. The attraction is also close to the Bok Tower. Spook Hill received national media attention when an article about it appeared on the front page of the Wall Street Journal on October 25, 1990, and it was featured in a segment on CBS Morning News with Charles Osgood on November 5, 1990. It was listed on the National Register of Historic Places in 2019. The truth of electric bray is less mysterious. As the stone placed by the lay bee explains, the effect is the result of an optical illusion. The inland end of this stretch of road is actually 17 feet higher than the coastal end, giving an overall gradient of 1 in 86. Yet because of the way the surrounding landscape slopes, the road appears to incline the opposite way, from its coastal end down to its inland end. The illusion is a powerful one, and the resulting effect is very weird, even when you know its cause. Unusually, it is possible to capture the illusion in the photograph. The header image is taken with the photographer's back to the sea, looking towards the inland end of Electric Bay, from its coastal end. The image is therefore looking slightly uphill along the road, and if the vehicle in the picture had its handbrake released, it would roll towards the photographer. Yet even in the photograph, the slopes of the nearby field and more distant hillside make it appear as if the camera is actually pointing downhill, and that if the car's handbrake was released, it ought to roll away from the photographer. Hoover Dam is a concrete arch gravity dam in the Black Canyon of the Colorado River, on the border between the U.S. states of Nevada and Arizona. It was constructed between 1931 and 1936 during the Great Depression, and was dedicated on September 30, 1935 by President Franklin D. Roosevelt. Its construction was the result of a massive effort involving thousands of workers and costs over 100 lives. Hoover Dam is one of the main tourist attractions in the eastern U.S. The size of this dam is huge, but the size does not matter here. Compared to the mysterious gravitational, it is completely irrelevant. If you go to this place when you can do some experiment, you should stand on top of a bottle of water and open the bottle and try to put the water. You will be amazed by the fact that instead of going down, the water goes up. The scientist has a satisfactory answer to this mystery, that the construction of the dam is such that the flow of air becomes very strong. The airflow through the edges is upwards. Mooresville is known for many things: Gray Bros Cafeteria, John Dillinger's Hideout, home of the state flag. But here's a strange, lesser-known spot that is worthy of the quick trip to Indy. This strange natural phenomenon in Indiana is just too weird for words. If you stop your car in just the right place and throw it into neutral, your car will begin to roll uphill. In 2007, a correspondent from the Mooresville Decatur Times reported that, if done perfectly, you could find yourself speeding along backwards at 50 miles per hour without ever touching the gas pedal. We've seen stories of this unusual experience dating back to the 1930s, but this old trick is still plenty fun today. The Gravity Hill in Lewisberry is located in a rural area of the York County suburbs of Harrisburg, a short distance off I-83, at the intersection of two busy roads. At this spot, your car appears to roll uphill if you put it in neutral. While it's undoubtedly an optical illusion, it's still a really odd sensation. In case you want to visit, there are a few things you need to keep in mind. Note that if you are coming from I-83 along Windermere Road, you'll need to turn around on Pleasant View Road to get to the stop sign. There's a wide enough shoulder just after you turn onto the road that this shouldn't be too difficult, but again, watch for traffic. At the stop sign, put your car into neutral and take your foot off the brake. You will slowly begin to roll backward and seemingly uphill. Again, yes, it is an optical illusion, but it really does look and feel like you're rolling uphill. It is the strangest location in the entire Black Hills, where the height changes on level platforms and much more. The laws of nature seem to have gone entirely frenzied. You will feel the presence being against you, amazed at how it is possible. You will experience water-defying gravity. Balls tossed in the air get stuck in the air. People shrink or grow according to their mystery spot. The 40-minute tour will amaze and bewitch adults and children of all ages. This is a place where mystery, comedy, and science all collide. Here the laws of science, all gravity, seem to be turned upside down. You will experience optical illusions including running water uphill. What a delight that must be. You will spot a large stand of trees that mysteriously are bent as if someone is pulling them in one direction. With 2 shacks, the pull field is stronger in first. You will discover yourself getting shorter at every place and might disappear as well. A tennis ball would twist in the middle of the air as it had a magnet. You may enter the gift shop and come out of the bathroom. Blanching Rock, the iconic 700-ton red sandstone ballerina perched on its tiptoes in the heart of the Garden of the Gods, and Garden of the Gods is a public park located in Colorado Springs, Colorado, U.S. It was designated a National Natural Landmark in 1971. It is, after all, inevitable that the 290-million-year-old rock will fall. Too many factors are working against it. Maybe it will be dislodged by erosion or wind. Perhaps it will succumb to Colorado's notorious freeze-thaw cycles, or even an earthquake. In 1936, an anonymous cousin of the balanced rock stood on a cliff about a half a mile to the south along the road to Manitou. This is one of the impressive things anyone could ever see where gravity doesn't seem to work. Go and enjoy this natural phenomenon. Have you ever seen a waterfall that defies the law of gravity? There's one waterfall in England that flows upstream instead of cascading down. It's quite unbelievable, but when the power of nature strikes, nothing is too impossible. At 30 meters tall, Kinder Downfall is the tallest waterfall in the Park District of England. When strong winds hit the area, water is blown upstream, creating a rare phenomenon that should be seen by all nature lovers and thrill seekers alike. Another mysterious place of Earth where gravity doesn't seem to work is Devil's Tower. The Devil's Tower is a natural monolith located near the towns of Hewlett and Sundance in Crook County, northeastern Wyoming, is the first national monument in the United States. The tower is 867 feet from its base to the summit. It stands 1,267 feet above the Belle Fourche River and is 5,112 feet above sea level. The mound's perfect shape and size make it Wyoming's most important site. This mound was first climbed by 2 local ranchers, Willard Ripley and William Rogers, using a 350-foot wooden ladder in 1893. Climbers from all over the world consider Devil's Tower to be a unique and premier climbing area. Over 5,000 climbers come to Devil's Tower each year. Hudson Bay Anomaly is one mysterious anomaly. You can mark this as one of the places where gravity doesn't work. Hudson Bay has less gravity as compared to the rest of the world. Now, don't go thinking that you'll start floating here, but you will weigh less than you would anywhere else in the world. 40 years is how long it took for scientists to figure out exactly why this territory has less gravity. And the reason behind it is quite interesting too. If you have studied physics, then you will know that gravity is a result of mass. This means that depending on density of the Earth, each place will have varying gravity. Remember that movie, Ice Age? Well, then you'll remember that the world once went through a phase where the entire planet was covered in ice. When the ice finally started melting, the Earth bounced back. But it took its own sweet time, which led to the area in Hudson Bay getting a teeny bit messed up. Since the mass of rock decreased, so did gravity. And voila, that's how we got such an irregularity. In the past 70 years, hundreds of dogs have been killed or injured leaping from the bridge without an obvious provocation. In Dumbarton, Scotland, there is a quaint bridge that dates back to the 19th century called Overtoun Bridge. It's a beautiful relic from the past for the sleepy town of just over 20,000 residents. However, it actually has a terrifying reputation for its apparent deadly impact on dogs, and is often better known as the dog suicide bridge. The animal behaviorist David Sands did a study at the bridge in 2010 and believes that the erratic behavior has been caused by nothing more than curiosity. He speculated that the scent of wild animals, particularly rodents, and perhaps seeing them move about the rocks below have excited dogs to the point where they're willing to jump. He concluded that it's highly likely, in all the cases here at Overtoun Bridge, that it was curiosity that killed the dog. There might be gravitational connectivity, or may not be. Years after the unusual dog behavior began on the bridge, there is still no official answer as to why. The animal curiosity theory makes a lot of sense, but can never be fully proved, nor can those who maintain that there is some ethereal or evil presence associated with the location. It's not easy to grasp for everyone that research in weightlessness can be concluded not only in space but also on Earth. But it happened at ZARM up to 3 times a day in the Bremen Drop Tower, and soon up to even 100 times a day in the Gravi Tower Bremen Pro. When only a fraction of the Earth's gravitational force prevails in these 2 large microgravity laboratories, a wide variety of phenomena can be investigated that are not detectable under normal gravitational conditions. But what is actually being studied, and why is research under zero gravity so relevant for us? Science teams from all over the world come to Bremen to use the Drop Tower and the GTB Pro for their research. The experiments conducted range from astrophysics, biology, chemistry, combustion research, fluid mechanics, and materials science to fundamental physics. Some of the experiments in microgravity are directly related to space travel, technologies or specific hardware that are tested that will later be used in space missions. For the Mascot lander, which successfully landed on the asteroid Ryugu in 2018, tests were carried out on the Drop Tower to examine how the landing module separates from the probe. Have you ever visited any of these places with less or no gravity? Do you wish to visit? Let us know in the comments below. Like always, if you enjoyed it, be sure to give us a big thumbs up and leave us some love in the comment section. To keep up to date with all of our awesome videos, be sure to hit subscribe and turn your notifications on to never miss a thing. Until next time, do take care of yourself.